Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is KPZ. We're here on the home of the slightly above average ship review. Got a match for you today in the Russian Tier 7 premium battleship Borodino. We are on neighbors. We are top tier. Actually, we're all the same tier. So this is a really good testing ground for this build, and we are testing out a fully maxed premium commander, Azur lane Soviet Rossiya, in the Borodino. Now, those of you who have this commander might know something. Don't blurt it out until it's truly revealed. But before we reveal it, which will be much later in the game, I do want to say that I think if you have Borodino, I think Soviet Rossiya is worth the 5,000 for a couple reasons. Well, first of all, you have to love Russian battleships, and I do. Second of all, you have to have gotten the Navarin or plan to get the Navarin, because you're going to use, I was going to say von Mueller. You're going to use Mikhail Kedrov in that, and you're going to have to build him out, especially for secondaries. And by doing that, you're essentially going to render him worthless for a lot of other ships in your fleet, unless you love burning commander XP on inspiration changes and whatnot. So by getting Azur lane Soviet Rossiya, you can use Soviet Rossiya for the Russian ships with bad secondaries, which may be all of them except Navarin. And then you can use Kedrov on the Navarin. And it's all good. Now, that being said, there are a couple other ships I would use them in, like Kanea Suvorov. You know, it could be debatable whether you want to run him or not in the Nikolai, which I do. But that being said, the Nikolai is not really a great secondary ship. Anyway, while I was talking, we already shot the Hawk and got a Citadel there. There's a Shimanto and some other ship, and I'm on fire twice. And I gotta wait 30 seconds for my damage con to come back on. And I'm still being shot and getting a lot of damage through the bow. So beware of showing the bow in this ship. All right, so, you know, I like the Borodino. It reminds me a lot of maybe like a Nelson. Just a little bit higher tiered. 2 turrets instead of 3 turrets. It's still got the same squishy armor. It's kind of got like John Bart secondaries, only to the rear of the ship. You can see those 2 turrets there. 2 twin 180 millimeter secondaries. And they don't tell you how far they turn. I guess I could have paid attention during the battle, but usually when I'm close enough to wonder if those are turning or not, I'm fighting someone, so I don't have the luxury of looking back to see how far the secondary batteries can turn. So we'll try to keep an eye on it throughout this match. Anyway, I really love this tactic that a lot of blue team destroyers have now, where they don't bother spotting at all. And the only ships that are visible are behind big rocks. Anyway, Shimanto is going to peek his nose out here, because I'm presuming he didn't have any targets either. And I'm like, hey, you coming out there, buddy? It looks like he is. And he just took a bunch of damage. So we'll fire our front turrets toward him. As you can see, the dispersion leaves a little bit to be desired. But just one Citadel hit later, we get an assisted kill there. And we got over 40,000 damage. All right, looks like the red team is pushing the Alpha Cap, far side of the map. So I see Georgia out there. I know Georgia doesn't have tremendous armor. Scharnhorst is the Tirpitz maybe behind the rocks. So I'm just going to back up here and wait. As you can see, I do have the Epic mod fitted to this ship. So quicker reload when we do more damage. And so we're going to line up Georgia, and we're going to let it go. And I should just put on the brakes and stop there, but I'm dumb. And I went all ahead full. Anyway, we crushed Georgia. 6 penetrations, full value, 2 hits to Citadel. And we did about 50,000 damage with that one salvo. So, unless I've read the damage before. We smashed Georgia, and it should have been a kill and a dev strike, but it wasn't. So, anyway, somebody else is going to kill Georgia. Because I was going forward, I was like, maybe I could squeeze the shells in between these islands, but the answer is no, so I'm not going to try to do it. So we got a Missouri over here, not a great angle. Georgia is behind a rock because he's going slow, because he got his butt kicked. And Turpitz, not a great angle either. So I'm going to start shooting at Missouri or Missouri when I get a chance. All right, shots out on Missouri. They're not really that exciting. And Georgia is still limping along, and finally, I believe he is killed by one of my teammates. And that's cool. I'm not mad. I'm mad at the RNG for not giving me the dev strike kill in the first place. All right, Missouri looks like it's a little bit out of reach. Turpitz is behind a big old rock. There's a destroyer somewhere out there and also an aircraft carrier. Don't worry, we're going to see all of the available enemy ships before the end of the match. Missouri looks like it's moving forward again, so I'm going to send a shot out there. As you can see, I'm doing really well with my epic mod in terms of boosting my reload. Although we didn't really do any damage to Missouri, we are over 100,000 damage. And he helpfully came to a halt in the water. That must have been so I could shoot at him more. All right, carrier-based aircraft are starting to come in. You don't have great AA, at least not with this build. We take a hit there, which looked worse than it actually was. But your secondaries aren't great, and your AA is not great. So we're going to do a little bendy movement. There is the enemy destroyer Udachi. I am going to light him up with a salvo and get 4 overpens and start to turn back in. And I said if I turn back in, I'll be able to dodge his first salvo, which appears to be true. He gets killed. Turpitz, double strike by the Utiloid. Good job, man. And we eat a couple of torpedoes there. And I know what you're thinking. You don't have a lot of health left at this point. I don't. And I didn't help myself in that regard. I'm now out of heals. All right, so we're going to leave the Charlie cap, move into the Bravo cap. I've got an aircraft carrier, and I've got Missouri to deal with. Carrier torpedo planes coming in. I thought if the Missouri commander's on the ball, he will dev strike me right now because I'm showing almost full broadside. He is not on the ball, so I'm going to shoot him and remind him what he should be doing, and then I'm going to turn back in towards him. And we are shooting down a few planes here and there, but don't think that you will survive a concerted effort to remove you from the game by any kind of carrier-based aircraft, because your A is not that great. All right, Missouri does a little bit of damage there, which is relative compared to how much we have left. We do a little bit of damage in return. We are traversing the Bravo cap. The carrier is probably directly perpendicular to my ship, if that's what it means to be a 90-degree angle from my heading. Missouri gets taken out. We are going to turn into these planes, and I think we are going to get an assisted base cap right before we get the torpedoes. There's the assisted base cap, and there are the torpedoes. I just wildly put a shot out there thinking I was going to be flooding to death, which clearly I wasn't. We actually do get a hit out of it, a couple of hits, and now I've got the armor piercing reloaded, and we are lining up Implacable for a shot, but unfortunately for me, he's just going to get chipped away. I think it might be a Michelangelo. All right, Amagi. Anyway, that is the end of the match, and we didn't get that kill either. All right, so here we are on the victory screen. Dreadnought medal, 117,264 total damage, 33 main battery hits, 4 assisted kills, 4 hits to Citadel, and a assisted base cap. We ended up just short of 700,000 silver, 11,000 ship XP, 3,000 green XP, 19,000 commander XP in the Borodino with Azur Lane Soviet Rossiya as our commander. Team results, GG to the Hampshire, GG to the Utiloy, and we ended up third on the board. 1 medal, no kills, 2607 base XP. All right, if you saw my other review, I'm going to link it. I am going to review this ship in the port. We only lost 1 ship in that entire battle, so red team not very good. All right, back here in the port after a brief message from our sponsor, Wargaming. In terms of the upgrades, aiming system mod 1, damage control system mod 2, concealment system mod 1, and main battery mod 3, the epic mod. Taking a look at the loadout, here is the most important thing that I totally forgot to check. Unlimited damage control party. 3 charges of what looks like a greater heal. 3 charges of enhanced secondary, which is pretty much useless, and 2 charges of radar that goes out to 11.7 kilometers, and it runs for 20 seconds. All the epic flags were on the ship, the Type 9 permanent camouflage, and the Borodino flag. 60,400 hit points and a 30% torpedo damage reduction with our build. Got those 2 triple 406mm turrets, 18.1 kilometer firing range, 23.8 second reload, 28.6 second turn time. So the epic mod only assists in that matter. HE shells, 5,800 max damage with a 48% fire chance. AP shells, 13,500 max damage. You got those 2 twin 180mm secondaries, 5.2 kilometer firing range, 6 second reload. HE shells do 2,500 max damage with a 13% fire chance. So if you get to use them, they might set something on fire, but there's just not enough volume there to really be meaningful. All right, AA defense, your secondary is dual purpose. Your longest reaching AA out to 5 km. Your best AA is the 57mm ZIF 31 Bravo emplacements, 12 twin emplacements, 212 damage per second. Maneuverability, it is pretty quick, 31.9 knots in the water, 1,060 meter turning circle, 15.4 second rudder shift time. Concealment, 12.8 on the surface, 10.7 from the air, 14.9 when firing from smoke. I was going to say, we're not going to look at the stats. But then I was like, whatever. So I looked at the stats anyway. I don't remember what it was last time, but I think we've engaged a lot of losses. The Borodino, if you get focused by a commander who has good fire HE spam, you're going to get burnt down. If you get caught broadside, you're going to get dev struck. If you are targeted by a really good carrier player, you're going to get taken out of the match. So not really a great winning percentage. Here we're just going to go over the armor again. Above water citadel with a heavy plate in front, that purple area. 25mm bow with a 50 to 100mm armor belt that probably won't stop much, except for maybe bad intentions. Turrets and barbettes. The barbettes are heavily armored. The front and rear of the turret is heavily armored. The turret faces, however, are not really sloped, so you probably can still get these knocked out pretty easily. Torpedo belt is all below the water, maybe for deep water torps. And this casemate just catches on fire with a minuscule 50mm armor belt above your citadel. Anyway, that is the armor profile of the Borodino. Here's why I really came here. Fully maxed, Azur Lane, Soviet Rossiya. Base trait, reduces the risk of catching fire. Also reduces battleship detectability. We got Von Essen for ricochet, or reload time, pardon me. Von Essen for ricochet angles. D. Revell for reload time. I just did want to note it's a -4 battleship detectability, so it might be a good inspiration on Congo, and then Condo, pardon me, and Condo might be a good inspiration for this commander to build all into the battleship detectability. Not the one for nuisance, crisscross. Here's my big error. We don't need volunteer because we have unlimited damage cons. So this should have been the one in the middle, master mechanic, and I would have gotten a couple extra damage control or repair parties because you don't need damage cons in the ship. So my bad. Would have it affected the outcome of that match? No. Unique skill battle cry reduces the ricochet angle of your battleship's AP shells, increases the guaranteed angle, and does more damage to Citadel strikes. So that's why I have the Von Essen inspiration on this ship. Just doing everything I can do to help that and fight fire with fire. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, like, comment, subscribe down below. I'll see you next time, everybody, on this channel. And see, you can see there you get 5 repair parties if you are not a dumbass like me. All right, see you next time, folks. Have a good weekend.